Finest for the first 2 weeks have managed to win out their series, both of them in fact, but they haven't won their first game, their own map pick whatsoever so far. 3 in a row now they haven't, but it seems like they are raring to go for the reverse sweep once again, and they saw it in great fashion on Fracture, their second game, making it 1-1 against KOVA. What are you expecting on Split here, Moxie?
I mean, if the tradition is truly to continue, Finest are looking like they're going to be able to take this map right. They've got a lot of momentum coming through from Fracture, and the same issues that KOVA had on Fracture, you can replicate on Split, especially on the defense. When it comes to places like mid control, we're going to be seeing a lot of scraps, especially if they want to lean into that KO even more. Right, if you want to push onto that A site, you always have to worry about Rafters and Heaven control. Sometimes we even see the Astra getting to still be in the mix. No surprises that Yasin is going to be moving over onto that Raze. Mashin is actually going to be picking up the Cypher alongside the counter Mirror Yasmand, just because of the amount of information that the Cypher can find, the fact that you can use those cages to be able to make your way onto those sites, not worrying about having to think about the crossfire set up in places potentially like ramps and Heaven. My eye is drawn though to the fact that KOVA are running the Sky, not something like a Sage, because that means that Finest have a lot of delayed potential. Something that, if you think about how KOVA played on Fracture, you would have expected to see coming out from this team composition, but Finest now are the ones who are going to be looking to slow things down.
Yeah, when you're picking an initiator on Split right now, you kind of feel backed into a corner a lot of the time. Breach is really the only big option that a lot of teams will think about, because Breach makes sense. He's very quick, he's not Sova, and Sky is just not quite as in meta right now in terms of Split play. So seeing Ale go for that Sky is a little interesting. I'm liking it. I want to see exactly how they're going to utilize that, especially on the defensive half.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're running that Sky, like, normally is very good hand in hand with the Jet, right? You have the dash, you can get forward, the fact that the guiding lights give you the sound cue, so the Jet knows now, especially with that new 12-second dash, that it is worth investing it into that 12-second window. There is a player there. It's a little bit harder to pull off with something like the Raze, but the Seekers can also be very good at being able to sniff out where the Viper is, especially in things like the Viper's Pit. Problem is that Finest aren't running a Viper. They are going to be running that Sage, so you don't really have to worry about the toxin screen coming on through, whether a player is going to be pushing up aggressively from it. And this should be something that KOVA can play off of, right? The fact that they have a toxin screen is the only one in play, and they should be able to bypass a lot of high ground threat just off of the back of that activation alone.
Yeah, Lothar last year would have been having a fit seeing Finest's composition here, in that there is no Viper, and that is a unforgivable sin coming into Split here. It's changed a little bit in recent times, but still, it is really useful to have a Viper in this map. You can cut off a lot of space. Machina can't find the first pick. 3 targets to aim for, and none of them are able to have the head taken off of them. They can just move in. KOVA getting the second pick now. Destructive is getting the trade there, but they're all backed into a corner now. Kix fights his way out of it. There's the Sage duelist. Bonkar takes another one down. 2 players left on the KOVA side. Make that 0. Make that 1, sorry. Vicious. Oh, no. Nah, make it 0. Sorry. It was just a little bit of delay. Finest, I'll take their first round, and I think that is definitely a sign of things to come.
Yeah, once again, KOVA just struggling to get through these really crucial chokeholds that Finest are able to use. On Fracture it was Tower, and here it's KOVA not having ramp control. Trying to move through to that A site, going up main, running into the Cypher cages. And yeah, it doesn't find the picks that it's looking for as much, but it does reroute KOVA up towards ramps, where Finest are just ready and waiting to meet them. And you want to talk about last year, what we would expect to see on Split? Well, look no further. The judge is going to be coming out from Bonkar. I remember when teams would just full buy into that one weapon, and they would just hold angles, and no matter whether you're on the attack, whether you're on the defense, it would still find value.
Yeah, the judge nowadays generally backed into ropes there. Oh no, Jessamine gets in. He'll find one. The second shot with the shorty just about misses. Yasin will get away with murder there, and Bonkar takes down 4! What the? Bonkar, you can't do that to me. My heart rate. I'm gonna have a cardiac arrest. Oh, there it is. The judge, as you were saying.
Yeah, Judge Meta, we're back in it. We hopped into a time machine, and we're gonna get to see it once again. It's so brutal too, the fact that you couple it up with the Sage Wall, so that they have to use that sound cue. You know that they're going to be pressing, that you see the block disintegrate, so you can actually just move forward into position, so that the judge is in prime distance to be able to connect with that one tap. And yeah, Bonka isn't even gonna be swapping off with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's gonna be breaking a couple more heads.
Disruptive is going to be forced out. All the way out, in fact, and that's a good wall to keep him that way. As long as Shed can get around this corner, it's going to stop Destructive from utilizing that position, but he does just walk around the wall in the end. He's done a lot of damage to this team, even before the round has even gone through. I think that healing is going to be pretty much out for her already. Has a little bit left, it looks like, but Kicks trying to hold down mid now. And Finest doing a good job of just keeping them away so far. That's all they need to do on this kind of round is waste time and try and get picks, and it's allowed Machina to get into an incredibly good location, but Jesmond is ready for it.
Yeah, KOVA having to just give up mid, still putting a little bit of noise towards it, but Bonka once again with the judge isn't able to find a third, but still able to find a second, as the light kicks actually move up into rafters. We'll be able to pick out the sky now. It's just a 2 versus 2 Destructive in position. We'll be using that dark cover, then opting in for the paranoia. Making it a little bit harder for KOVA to get information on where they're going to be playing from, but there's the flash coming on through. Ali uses the sign cue, knows that the players are caught out, and can move forward and get the 2 picks.
Yeah, it's a brilliant guiding light there to make sure that neither of those players get through. The dark cover was perfectly placed, but yeah, using that guiding light, make sure they can't get any value out of it, but Bonkar, he can't keep getting away with it. He can't. He's done a lot of damage to this team, and they've actually lost 3 players on a round that they really should have taken quite easily if we look at it in the way that, you know, they had much better economy, and Finest really didn't have anything to work with whatsoever. Now they have full rifles, and they have a lot of money to play with, even if they do lose this round.
Well, they also don't have a judge, so KOVA can breathe a big sigh of relief, but now they have to worry about the long distance rather than the close. The student's able to pick up Sukma, and while yes, you still have Vicious on this Viper, we haven't really got to see a proper fake come through, with the Toxin Stream being on one side of the map, and the rest of the team pushing in a separate area. Punish the fact that Finest don't really have a lot of ways of finding out the information. You don't have the Sova, the recon bot can't come through. Instead, it's going to be the Cypher camera. But Machina has been able to spot them out, and so the Viper Spit comes through, can just duck into backside, and is able to pick up Vicious. The Viper Spit is down as much as it comes up.
Well, Kix is able to do some damage control as well. KOVA did a lot there, but I mean, not enough whatsoever. Finest look in control as ever. This is the most in control we've seen Finest this series so far, and Bonkar will just finish it out. Bonkar is coming alive right now.
Yeah, even actually committing that res onto your scene, so you don't have the deficit of buying another weapon into this round. Finest feeling very comfortable in terms of that economy. And that is not where an attacking team on Split wants to be. Split is already heavily defensive favored, right? The amount of times that we've seen those spawn kits get pushed further and further into the defender's area so that the attackers have a moment and actually react to where the defense is holding. We've seen significant changes trying to even it out for the attacking side, but it's still very hard to be able to properly pull off an attack and keep all 5 of your members alive, and a lot of it comes down to having that mid control. But here's the problem. You don't have a counter Sage. So when the Soul comes through, you're forced to just try and throw that utility into defense, and it this time is going to find a pick. But again, that delays come through, and you're still not really able to push onto the B side.
Yeah, and there goes that Rolling Thunder. Destructive gets 1. Oh, tagged up there, has to back out. That Seeker is going to make things a lot more difficult if you jump down. Jesmond able to pick up the rifle as they move all the way through, but they still need to break that and give away their location. Destructive finds 2. Pretty much spells the end for Ale. That Shed also down. 1 versus 4. Turns around the corner. Destructive with 4 kills. And Finest, I mean, look quite in control now.
Yeah, it's very predictable, KOVA's passage of movement when they're able to move through up ramps. Right, they don't push into mail, so Finest get the information, okay. The only way they can go is fence. And that's why you see the Rolling Thunder come through from Blanca. Connects to all of the players stuck there, and it's just shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
At that moment, KOVA entirely caught up in it, can't really do much of anything except meet their demise with open arms. It was not the best fight coming out from them. This is a much more important round for them. They want to start and make a move, recover with these rifles, especially with the showstopper that can have a lot of threat. If you find the information, you can pop it out, immediately move up into mail. In fact, Trailblazer has been invested to try and push Finest away, but again, that slow up comes through. And the wall, again, just slows the momentum. Satchel Pack should be able to destroy 1Q, but I don't think it actually connected.
Yeah. I think it may have done a tiny amount of damage, but not enough that it gives them an advantage here. Showstopper will get through. Yassine can't quite find the head before that gets used, and I don't think really had anywhere to go. I'm not gonna lie. Sutma, though, does get displaced perfectly. Destructive in complete cahoots with Bunkar to find that pick now. All across the map of KOVA, and they haven't really taken any space whatsoever.
Yeah, despite the showstopper pick coming on through, again, the slow warp was used in a reaction, and KOVA, despite getting that pick, aren't able to translate it into ground gained. This is going to be a B-side push. You can see the spike making its way into Garage, but again, like, so much time has passed that now they've got 34 seconds left. If it's not a clean passage from Mail onto Heaven, then you're going to get taken out by Kick, so you won't have that crossfire, that distraction to let your team move through from Garage, and there it is. Kick's able to find the pick on Tishet. The movement is not quite in time with the rest of the players in Garage, and now it's just KOVA trying to get the spike in time. Has to clear backside, 13 seconds left. Not really going to have the space given for the spike to go through.
Yeah. I mean, that's well played from Finest just to keep them away. Once again, it's adaptation. KOVA were playing it slowly, so Finest just let them play it slowly and just let him do that. Yeah, round is ended. He can't get the spike down in time. I mean, Finest are reading everything perfectly so far. It doesn't matter if they get the kills by an inch or a mile. They're getting the rounds.
Yeah, they should have a lot of space, but again, those slow warps just not having the jet as well, not being able to just updraft over them and connect onto the Sage. It's really punishing KOVA. Like, all of the momentum, all of the aggression they're trying to build towards, they're trying to snowball into. That starts off really strong for them and should build into an avalanche. Kix is just stopping it, throwing it right back into their face, and we're hitting that point where we talk about in VALORANT, that 5-round deficit, where you can't recover your economy and you're just forced to try and win rounds with ultimates, buy into things like an operator, and then wait for the half to come through so your eco can reset.
Well, Yassine doesn't manage to find a kill in the sea of bodies there. In fact, barely manages to find any damage, which is baffling to me. I don't know, the bullets went there. They just didn't hit people, apparently. Which gives KOVA no opening. I mean, they can't really build off of that whatsoever with the kind of weaponry they have, so they have to back out, really. In some way or another, they do not have a composition that lends itself well to just getting a pick and then moving all the way in and taking control of the map, because, you know, you do have the two controllers, but if you can't take control of a massive portion of that site, it's not really going to be worth it to go for that, so they're going to rotate all the way around.
Oh my goodness, that was a full line invested to make sure that Jasmine was not able to move into Heaven and pick up the Vandal. Is able to do not that. It's just entirely camped out by Finest, forced to try and hike around vents instead to meet the rest of the team and offer a little bit of side pressure. But with the pistol, you're just going to get spread out by kicks.
Here we go. KOVA doing a good job of adapting here, and they've kept 4 players alive with the spike down. They still don't have a rifle in their hands. There we go, Ale manages to pick one up. But this is going to be difficult for Finest to retake. They do have a fault line available. They do have one dark cover. And the teleport is also around. Here comes the fault line. That's not going to displace Kersmond, only the people towards Pillar. Destructive is going to move around. Can't quite find the kill, and Sutma is right behind him. Bunkar is just going to save that weapon, and I don't blame him for it.
Yeah, really good position coming out from KOVA. Able to have the time, able to set up players on Cat, make sure that you've got backside, so even when the dark cover comes through, which is Finest revealing that they want to try and separate these fights into the 1v1s, they've got the high ground. And I mean, Obi-Wan, he has a point. They're able to find the pick, it's not expected from Finest, and KOVA finally able to find another round on the board on a buy where they should not have found a lot of value from. But this time, they have to continue that momentum. They've got the rifles. They should be able to break this defense, and it could be a costly one. The problem is that Finest have been able to run around with so many rounds in a row that despite losing all but one of their players, it's literally just going to be a full buy for them. Business as usual.
Yep. They can keep this up. KOVA luckily have built up some economy over the past several rounds.
My eyes are down.
They're still 3 rounds down, and things are even between them economically, I would say. So they've kind of just, in the first 7 rounds of this game, lost out on a lot of opportunity to get back into it. Finest are looking maybe not in a better position to take more rounds going forwards, but they've still got 3 ahead of KOVA already, so it doesn't matter. They've already got 5. Machina holding down. Sorry, Machina. I keep doing it. Holding this down. But there comes Sutma from behind. They've taken that mid-control and they've used it perfectly to get all the way through. Kicks could not keep a hold of that one for too long. Dark cover keeps them in screens. She's just going to sit in the corner and wait. Oh no, these 2 players, they do. Oh no, they do know. But he sees the barrel of the gun. And he doesn't know that there's a second player in there. Just walks through it anyway. But Sutma's right round the corner. There we go. The head is taken off. 3 kills already for Sutma, and he's looking like he could make it an ace if he just pushes around on this one. Chessman is actually giving away position, and Dai's too destructive. Sutma taken down, but KOVA are there with the trades, and they make it 3 rounds.
Woo! A tragedy in 2 parts. Was that smoke? Oh, the dark cover. It's just those popcorn moments, right? Where you see the gun barrel and you're like, okay, yeah, there's 1 player, and then you don't realize that there's a second looking for that trade.
Yeah. It's
Kicks, it's the moment you see the gun barrel just peek out from dark cover, but then Sitma is able to pick out Kicks before Kicks even realizes the second player is there, and that's when KOVA start to make that recovery.
Oh,
and
no.
Twiggy, you've seen it. I've seen it. I'm scared. I'm
not
worried.
again. Not again.
Not again. Not again. It's gonna be Blanca with the judge. Mixing up positioning once again as well. This is where we expect the player with the judge to be playing from, right in vents, making it really hard to be able to get on top of them. They're even really funneling KOVA towards that player, being like, yeah, look, see, you want mid control, you're not going to be able to take it through mail. In fact, you're going to be walking to a showstopper. But it's a little bit too aggressive, as KOVA have already backed out.
Yeah, Shed almost got punished by that, but not quite. Got around the corner in time. Well, at least now they have mid control, quite deep as well. 1 player close, 1 player back, and then 1 player with a judge in ropes. Who would have guessed? Bonkar is over there as well. Aftershock used. Bonkar gets 1 long range with that judge. Here comes the From the Shadows. Sutma trying to get some info. Might commit this one. He will indeed. Over towards a site. Doesn't have the spike, but he can call over his teammates at this point and get a little bit of smoke down. Just get control of the site before anything else happens. Finest, though, they do have time to get around here. And Destructive on B finds a kill on Chessman. Anyway, they move around. Oh, that's not great. Machina stuck here in elbow. Sutma finds another 3k to open things up.
Vicious is going to be so hard to unseat as well, but Kick's still on site. Isn't able to be the point of pressure the team was needed. Destructive is going to have to cross, and that's going to be the moment that Vicious is waiting for. Sutma is taken out, but now you have to get through Vicious, who's going to be trying to move forward. But Destructive is actually TP'd up onto Rafter, is shooting through the dark cover. Vicious is out through the smoke, though, and is able to pick out the Omen. And KOVA, by pulling it towards the A side by using that toxin screen, are able to get another round on the board. It could have been extremely costly. You can see Finest doing their darndest to force KOVA into that fight on mid, but they don't go for it. They don't fall for the play. They push onto the side instead, and it pays off.
I try not to root for players or teams or anything like that, but when Destructive did that and teleported back up, I was really hoping that that they would fall for that, because that was just brilliant. I didn't. It wasn't going to work out. He didn't hit the ground, so he didn't make any noise. But
Twiggy,
dear.
what's worse than 1 judge?
That's yeah, 2 judges. Is quite a that could be interesting. Where are they playing the 2 judges? 1 always in ropes. 1
in ropes.
Yeah, 1 at LCD on A site, sat behind the what used to be the default spot to plant the spike. Well, probably won't be prepared for this one, and Bonkar is just going to wait and use that to his advantage, hopefully. Don't get too aggressive, Bonkar. Wait a second. Yassine just boosted in with his... There we go. There's it. The Bonkar with the judge. Who could have guessed? He'll get that pick. And he has the spike now as well. He takes down the spike carrier. Kicks just walks in with a sheriff and gets the kill. Heals himself back up. Something will take down Bonkar in the end. And Destructive is also down. There's only 1 left. Yassine, judge in hand, finds a headshot onto Shed. 2 players left to deal with though, and only has a judge. from long range. A lot of bullets. There we go. Vandal finds the first pick. 2 HP in a 1v1 against Vicious. Vicious waiting for him, and he will find the kill. It's 5-5 now. KOVA managed to claw their way into even rounds.
Yeah, but Finest, with a buy like that, able to find 4 hits.
I don't know either. I don't know. It's the judge.
It's the judge. It's just judge things. It's honestly what happened. In that round, you seem to be able to pick it up as well and still get so much done. And it does, like, it's a costly round for KOVA. That was a round that they should have been able to walk. That was a round that they should not have lost 3 players, let alone 4 players too. So Finest are patting themselves on the back because now KOVA are going to be so paranoid. You can't plant Spike. You can't think that these angles, like, look at the amount of hesitation that Shed has just trying to actually push onto main.
He didn't push onto main. He didn't push anywhere. He was in no man's land. If we say, like, the ocean is, you know, lawless in that it's international territory, mid-air is also international territory, and they can get away with murder completely happily. Mashing it. They sound something out. And they can just wait up here, but the Viper's Pit is going to make things difficult. That's such a great usage of that. They're going to need to displace the Viper, most crucially. Vicious has found one, and it's a 1v2, but turning around the corner is Bonka. He manages to get that pick as well, which means the Viper's Pit is still up. It's smashing her with the classic. Machina. I need to get... I'm now making it worse by just saying both words at the same time. It's Deus Ex Machina that did this to me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's a gorgeous use of the Rolling Thunder. You don't have the Sova, you don't have the normal counter of the Hunter's Fury, so you make do with the Breach ult, but no, Finest, no, not like this. This time it's gonna be Kicks running the judge. Oh, that's...
Oh man, it's they're just passing it around between them at this point. It's you got
the parcel.
Oh, you got 3 kills with it. Oh, let me have a go. Okay, yeah, go for it, Kicks. You can have a go on that one. Yeah, sure. And now they're just rotating it around the mid players. So I don't even know. I don't know anymore.
I mean, they did say that Kicks plays Battle Sage, and Battle Sage is what we are going to see. But Yasina's the one that you have to keep an eye on. Tries to go for Vicious, but Vicious with the Vandal a little bit faster. Showstopper entirely shut down.
It's heartbreaking, honestly. Bunker taking an aggressive position over towards ramp. At the very least, if Yasin can't get a kill, he can give some space to his teammates. Ale is waiting here, destructive within the dark cover, but a headshot will finish him off in the end, and that's a lot of space taken that wasn't needed to be. Shed comes through from heaven, doesn't find any damage.
Judge. Look
Here
at
it
Kicks.
is, yeah. Kicks on default with the judge, but if they displace him quick enough, yeah, that's long range. Shed will find the pick. Still 2 players left on Finest. They both have rifles. Can both do this. It's whether KOVA can keep a hold of the site here. 5 bullets left for Machina. Not a lot of ammo in reserve, and Bonko is taking his time getting round. The flash will not do anything whatsoever. Ale taking the pick, and Machina will now save. Why? It is the last round. Why?
Oh, no. He's going for it.
Roof burning. Why? Oh, well, there we go. 6-6 half. Jasmine takes out Machina, and, I mean... This is close, like really close. This is even more close than the last game, and obviously, yes, it's 6-6, it was 7-5 last game. No, it's genuinely, I cannot, round by round, I can't differentiate these teams at the moment in terms of how they're playing.
Yeah, like you see that positioning coming out from Kicks, and you're like, okay, someone's gonna get caught out trying to plant that spike. And then Kicks goes a little bit too aggressively forward, gives away the position, tries to go for the connection onto Shed. Long range judge not quite as effective as a close range judge, and now for KOVA, they have to feel pretty happy and also pretty petty because they're on the defense now. If they want to lean into the judge, they absolutely can. They do, however, have to get past pistols first of all. And for how even it is 6-6, both of these teams are not going to give an inch when it comes to this round. They know how important a potential 2-round lead can be.
It's really, really going to come down to this pistol round. That is going to be the catalyst that gives a team the opportunity to win. Yasmin caught off guard by that flash. I think that he doesn't get caught off guard by Kicks jumping over the box 3 times trying to get the kill with the classic, and does manage to find the kill, but the spike is down anyway, and it's a 4v4 now. Destructive waiting under heaven. Dark cover used twice. Rotated round to keep these players away. Vicious is well aware that somebody is going to be over towards Hell waiting for them. Jumps down anyway, and Destructive finds 2. Now as they move in, Machina takes 1 more down, and it's just Sotma left. Destructive makes it a 3k. 7-6, and I mean, Finest, that was one hell of a way to take a pistol round.
Yeah, it feels like even though you knew that Destructive was going to be there, the call came through of jump when the dark cover is still there, so the Omen thinks that we're going to be holding position in heaven and they're going to get surprised. The problem is that you don't even manage to find the trade, right? Destructive is able to find 2, and all the while that spike is just taking away very slowly. Vicious is a little bit too slow in the 180, not able to find that pick. Some are able to tap the defuse, but they just use it to track the Omen's position in the dark cover. And we said how important pistols would be. Finest walking away with that one, can now upgrade into the SMGs. KOVA playing it very conservative in terms of that economy, and this is when that momentum can come on through. You don't have a breach to stop the rush push, and Shed is slowed down, and Elbow can't really stop the spike from going down, but Sutma can.
I mean, Ali and Sutma have put together a masterclass. Vicious finds the final shot through the LCD there. It's a 1 versus 1. Sheriff versus Spectre. Spectre wins. I mean, yeah, Vicious didn't quite find the head. I mean, it was centimeters away, let's be honest here. If we get a slow motion replay on that one, that was very, very close. But, I mean, Finest probably wanted a better round there, I'm not going to lie.
Wanted to be able to come in with a better economy on this round as well.
Yeah.
As it's just going to be Machina coming in with that Vandal. But again, I feel like KOVA has the same problem that they faced in terms of Fracture, right? The composition that they're running here can be very good for setting up things like crossfires. Not the best in terms of being able to trigger momentum without putting yourself in danger. For Finest, they have the breach, they can activate the flashes out of danger, as opposed to this guy who sort of has to be a little bit closer to things, and you can see that Finest are really getting to use that distance to try and push themselves forward into space where KOVA aren't ready to anticipate that.
Sensory overload in a heaven. And somehow, no kills. Okay, well, back to a 4v4. Well, 1 kill, but that was before the sensory overload happened, so, you know, I don't count it. Now Finest, yeah. Yay. Pretty lights.
Oh man, we're just going for like a time machine on all of the metas, right? We've had the Judge, now we've got the Frenzy. Yassine's gonna be rocking that one. But it's still very much favored towards KOVA. They do have the rifles. Finest doing something that we call cut noise, trying to draw out these defenders so that the rifles don't just spray them down before Finest get to see where the defenders have positioned themselves. As the spike is moving towards the B side, it is empty at the moment, at least in terms of the site itself, but you do have to worry about Vicious, who is going to be in stairs, can peek out because you don't have mid, you can't count heaven as your own ground.
Oof, wow. Yeah, not your own ground. One car. Oh, and they get the spike down as well. That kill really cemented things for KOVA. They went, oh, hey! Nope, one car by himself. Sorry. Spike is down. Now they got to retake. And things are pretty even here, I would say. If Mechanic gets that kill, that's massive. Vicious takes down Yassine and has got control of the spike at least, but Machina is just going to come round, and that timing to turn around is so unfortunate. It's a 1v3. Vicious really can't get anything done here. Paranoid up. Can't get away. Machina with a 4k. And Finest take a bonus round.
KOVA fell for it. They fell for the pick coming out from bunker onto the A site. You can actually even see the moment that Vicious thinks that the communication comes through. It's an A site push. There's motion there because the Viper moves away from stairs, starts to drift towards defender spawn, so that you can rotate into either heaven or screens. And that little moment where the Viper moves away from the high ground means that you don't contest the spike going down. And from there, KOVA are just looking in on the sidelines, trying to get their way back through, and Finest slam the door in their face with Machina getting pushed so far up that you can bounce up an alley. And now KOVA once again having to play very far back. There's a little bit of context up towards mid, but it's nowhere near the bloodbath that it was when Finest were holding us. Oh, KOVA, that's not a good amount of aggression there.
You heard of feed the machine, feed the machiner. He gets 2 more to add on to his extensive list of combo kills in this game. And now the round is theirs. They can do what they want with it at this point. KOVA spread so thinly across the map, and they head towards B. I'm just going to walk on in. They don't really need any kind of smoke to get in through that one. They're just going to get it all the way through, hoping that Ale doesn't find an opening pick, which he doesn't. Luckily for them, Destructive just gets up, finds one more pick. Only 2 players left here. Ooh. Ale finds a body of Destructive, but Kicks is there for the trade, and now it's just Shed left. 1v4, Sheriff in hand. Does have a stinger as well. I don't know how useful that's going to be in this. Kicks taken down. Paint grenade. Push a player back a little further, but he has a lot to think about. You can see the paranoia coming in. Is there somebody coming around behind me? What's going on?
You can see Mashina start to come on through.
Yep.
It very much feels like the Jaws music when we're just watching that Cypher very slowly move around. On
whoa. Oh no, it's going.
Gonna have to. Shed's gonna have to try and get away with this.
Genuinely cannot believe you got that kill onto your scene. What?
It was brilliant. I think they weren't expecting him to be like that close to the wall without giving away his position. Goes to shoot the wall and actually gets.
Yeah, I genuinely think that was completely accidental. There is no way he meant to go for that kill.
We're gonna see it in replay in a second, because the timing.
Hold
let's
on,
see.
there
Okay,
is
so
no.
no.
That was
Doesn't she
intent
get to
behind
see
it.
it?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the moment, I thought that's just random shot, but no. There was intent.
Cat-like reflexes.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool
Inhuman
cat in
reaction
chat, please.
time. But for KOVA, it is very much a big deciding round. For this fight, they've brought into the rifles. They've got a lot of ultimates that they want to play around with. They want to start to really stop Finest from gaining this ground, gaining this momentum. They are going to have to start doing it here, but that's not a good way to begin things. Shed going down suddenly means that Vents and Mail becomes a lot harder to hold on to, because if you get pressured out, you can't just throw a paint shell behind you and consider it a day.
Oh. Both teams kind of trying to figure out what to do. I think that will cement things for Finest in how they want to approach the round. They do take down one more player. It's a 4v3 now. A lot of damage has been done already to the KOVA side. So at this point, now or never for KOVA to start bringing things back. It really is. They're going to head towards the more heavily guarded site, but I don't think they really mind whatsoever. Yesman takes down one, Kicks is there with the trade. Vicious gets a trade onto that, and Sutma takes down Yassine. So it is just one player left on the Finest side to finish things off. The Spike is down right below him in Hell. He needs to find 2 kills here, and Vicious is not going to let him. I did say it was the exact round that KOVA needed to bring things back into this and wake up, and they'd have.
Yeah, it's really important for their economy. And they are still able to carry in 2 rifles for this one, but again, for Finest, it's a very good buy for them to come through. They've got those ultimates that they can use to really springboard onto these sites with. The Rolling Thunder is absolutely massive. The fact that you have the res while KOVA does not means that you can go really aggressively forward and potentially get a lot of information, a lot of picks, and then it just gets scrubbed away with that resurrection. It does, however, usually cost the Sage Wall coming on through, which is very costly if it's early on in these rounds. But you can see KOVA, they're very reluctant to take these early fights. They're having to loop back in to try and grab up ramps, and it's opening time up for Mashina to find the picks.
Oh, nicely done. That pinch is perfect from KOVA. And they do get some picks on the board. It is just Bonkar left. Finds another one, but that little snake bite is going to do a lot of damage. Now down to 44 HP. Going to run. Turn tail over towards B. These guys are going to wait here for, I would say, about 10 more seconds. And then they'll head back after not hearing anything. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There they go. Okay.
Well, that doesn't really count.
Well,
the Cypher camera was
That's fair enough, but I do think that even if the Cypher camera wasn't there, they would have done that. So we can call it a draw. Anyway, Bonkar now has free reign over where to reposition himself to in this post plant, and actually perfectly getting around the corner before Sutma can see him with that from the shadows, but probably by process of elimination figuring out he's either deep A main or in their own spawn. It's a really difficult situation. Bonkar though, 1v2. heard the drop, but didn't aim at the bottom. Sutma gets the kill. KOVA take their 8th round, and they're slowly bringing things back. It is really by the skin of their teeth, but as we always say, by an inch or a mile, a win is a win, so perfect for them.
Yeah, round point is a round point. Unfortunately, a corpse means you have to buy a weapon in the next round after. And it does mean that their economy is still in a very precarious position. In fact, both of these teams really wanting to be able to start clawing a little bit of a lead over, because we're yet to really see an operator come through from KOVA, something that's very surprising, right? Yes, they're not running a chamber or a jet, but they are the only ones with a Viper, which means they're the only ones controlling when that toxin screen goes up and when you have an angle onto places like screens or to move through garage, and we're yet to really see them try and take advantage of that fact on the defense.
Still have a chance to bring this one back in this round here, Finest. If they don't, it's going to even things up quite nicely for KOVA. You can see him getting a 10-10. Snowballing is a really, really big risk now for Finest to think about. Showstoppers go either way, but it's Sheds that gets 2 kills. Over towards a male, perfectly landing. That's really, really painful for Finest. They didn't even know they were there. They knew they were around there. The fact that they couldn't get any value out of that Showstopper and KOVA could get 2 before any info has been gathered from Finest whatsoever, it just means, what do we do for the rest of the round?
Yeah, warning signs probably started to flicker, right? The fact that they were able to get that far up mid and male and into heaven without a lot of congestion for the very first time. Surely they should have expected it, but
30 seconds left.
Showstopper is one of those where when you hear that voice line, you don't always have the time to be able to react into it.
Sutma
We'll
trying to
fill
hold.
the sage wall, but yeah, Sutma just holding now on ramps, making sure that Finest don't gain grand, can't go onto that A site to get the money to even get the spike plant.
Oh, oh no. Shed gets 2 with the show. So I want to be clear. In Project A, abilities do not kill. Anyway, he finds 3 with abilities in that round. So, perfectly played. Shed, I mean, this has always been the agent that we've complained about how much damage the abilities do. The Showstopper finds 2, perfectly timed. And then that, I mean, that Satchel was perfectly placed. Make sure they get that finish. And Sutma, I think, was really kind of the anchor in that round that made sure that Finest had no way of getting through. But now things are difficult. Because Finest, they don't want to give up this round. They're going to kind of half buy into it. But once this round goes the way of KOVA, assuming it does, it's going to be very difficult. KOVA finds the first pick. And I think that really sets the tone for the rest of this one. Unfortunately, Finest are going to have to bring this one back in the last 2 rounds, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is all just noise towards the A site. The spike is actually moving over to the B, but you're having to move through the poison orb, and Kix does not really want to contest that. And so once again, the spike is getting hurted. This time, it's going to run up through mid. Maybe you go A, maybe you try and cross your onto B, but there's so much utility and information available for KOVA, and I'm not seeing anyone move towards that B, not seeing anyone move up from male into heaven. They're already starting to rotate. And yet the spike is made out of vents, but are you going to be alive while you try and contest screens? KOVA says no.
That's it. 1 player left. Machina in the corner. Can't quite get a kill. And it's a flawless round to make it 10-10 and even things up. And KOVA are edging closer and closer to getting Finest their first loss. Their first series loss in the 3 weeks we've played so far. And Finest have not lost this many rounds on their 3rd map so far. Not before in this series. So, sorry, this stage. So that is possibly some foreshadowing.
Well, is this a Finest timeout? Yep. They're realizing the danger that they're in. KOVA have been able to equalize. It is now 10-10. Finest are going to be full buying into this one. They've got the neural theft, so if they are able to find that first pick, they're going to have a lot of information on where KOVA are playing and where it's best to really focus their efforts on being able to move on up. They've got the resurrection, so if they want to take these fights and bait out that utility on the side of KOVA, bait out things like the toxin screen to be invested early on, they absolutely have the means to do so. However, it is so important that each of these players are on the same page, and that is why the timeout is coming through. The game plan is being finalized, everyone is in agreement, and they will move together as 5 rather than scatter into segments.
Oh boy. Everything rests on this round, I would say, for Finest. They will have another chance if they do lose this one to get into it, if they save the round afterwards, but this is a really, really, really tough situation for them. Because now, the decision-making for them over the next 3 rounds is going to be incredibly tough. It's, do we give this round up? Do we save? Do we do this? Do we do that? And even when they do save a weapon at the end of a round, do we buy up to surround it, or do we save around it and use it as a hero weapon? Because that's where this kind of stuff goes, and they don't have a lot of economy, and KOVA do.
It does look like it's going to be a push towards the A to us, and to KOVA as well, but we do know that the spike is not actually currently being shepherded towards that site, instead it is still not picked up by a player to make sure that if one does go down, KOVA can't hold it above Finest heads for a round. Machina not able to find the pick to trigger neural theft. Now things start to look a little bit dicier for Finest. That pick towards the A side though has meant that KOVA's attention is situated a little bit towards the A. However, no other players spotted and no spike spotted has meant that KOVA have already started to drift. They know that they haven't had a lot of pressure towards mid and mail itself, but they do have Ally just waiting to see whether a player pops up from ropes, giving a lot of information to KOVA, letting them know that Vicious is really going to find a lot of value. Oh, still able to find the pick onto Destructive even with the TP.
The trade comes through, and somehow Shed doesn't manage to find a kill there. You're seeing down to very low HP that there's the resurrection onto Destructive. That gives them the edge in this retake here. Yasmin, no, finds 2. They're both facing the wrong way, and a third. Kix is able to find the trade, but it's a 1v2 now. He has a spike available right in front of him. Finds one head, but Ale is there with the trade perfectly timed, and KOVA take their 11th round. And Finest, even though they've made it expensive, it doesn't matter. Look how much money KOVA have.
And we were talking about the decisions that Finest would be faced with every single round. Do we buy? Do we give up this round so that we can buy into the next? That's the discussion that they are now going to be having. Do you go for the full eco? Or do you try and force fate? And unfortunately for them, they just used their timeout. A decision has got to be made, and it's got to come in fast. It does seem like it's not going to be the full eco. They are still wanting to have a little bit of output. The frenzy going to be coming. 2 of their players sheriffs for the remaining 3, but it is not going to be a force, and they are going to go a little bit more conservative so that if KOVA walk this round, it's not going to be match point. But for Finest, they have to get 2 rounds in a row if they want to try and trigger overtime.
KOVA are going to be incredibly happy right now. Finest, head in hands. Oh well, I mean their hands are taken up playing this game. They have to get that one done first, but Ale is not going to let them. Now Bonkar's head is in his hands. He's got his hands completely free after he's dead. They're all around the map, and those Seekers are just perfect to figure out where they are. How does Machina find a kill onto Supper there? He just falls down and gets domed by the frenzy. 3 players left on the side of Finest. They have managed to find 1 kill, but no kills matter unless they win this round, unless they get a lot of damage done and get some money for themselves. You could say this round doesn't matter whatsoever, but Machina gets another kill onto Shed, making it a 3v3. They don't have full control of anywhere on the map right now, but they do have Heaven. If they can convert that into some control of A, it could be massive, but they're going to head towards B instead.
And they're also not risking bait plays. Like, they could have created a little bit of noise onto the A to try and draw focus away from where the spike is heading towards B, but with only 3 players left and the buy that they're on, you want all hands on deck to be able to push onto the side. It has meant that no one's been able to distract Vicious. Poison Orb's going to be coming through. Machina drops down. He's going to use the camera, but no one checks Jasmine. And oh no!
Destructive! He's got the kills, he can get the spike down, he's in a 1v1. He can play this however he likes. Ale has 2 guiding lights available to displace him, 1 teleport used by Destructive. I think he was too far away from Ale to hear that he had committed that. He's going to use his second one. Destructive is just waiting there. No, he saw his head. He saw his head. He has guiding lights available. He's going to use 1 into the smoke, but Destructive completely blind. Makes it a 50 round and brings it to 11-11.
Oh, Finest breathe a big sigh of relief. Destructive able to clutch it out, equalize to 11-11, but this is when KOVA pull out the stops. This is what I've been waiting for a very long time for, and I'm sure Finest have been anticipating this ever since they didn't lock in a Viper, they have to have known that on the defense, that operator would be coming out for KOVA. And they don't have a toxin screen. Which means all of that tempo, all of that positioning, all of that decision on when the op is safe to reload and look for those shots, it's all in KOVA's hands.
Oh, perfect paint grenade. Shed manages to find a kill. But this is a completely different look for Finest. They've been given a second chance here. They still need to win this round, I would say, but the chances are much higher than last round, and they managed to get last round done, so why not this one? Trailblazer finds one player over towards ramp there, but it got away from that one. Ooh, if that guiding light was just a little bit shorter, it would have found out the machine was standing there. He's just going to anchor here and wait to see if any players are going to rotate through there to try and go through mid. The players are already over towards B. 3 holding up at B.
Yeah, well, KOVA, they know, right, that a lot of the time when finals have been pushed successfully onto these sites, it has been onto B. And once again, Vicious is just going to be sitting on site. Toxin screen, just making sure if you pass through from Garage, the second you see utility, the slightest signs you can use that Toxin screen, it's going to be pushed away with that Rolling Thunder, but still able to peek out the Toxin screen and the Snakebite combined, not able to let Finest get safe passage despite committing the breach ultimate.
Foolish.
Machina takes down Arley. Oh, and a second onto Vicious. 2v2 now. But the Showstopper is there, and they just need to get the spike down. The Showstopper finds none. Machina takes the kill. They can get the spike now. Subma, somehow Finest are winning these rounds. The kill doesn't come through, and Machina takes a 4K. He's going to take this one, and they make it match point. From the jaws of defeat, Finest have made it 12-11, and now KOVA are going to find it difficult to buy into this round.
KOVA have to get this round if they want to see overtime, if they want to be able to topple the sofa undefeated Finest. Finest, it's been so close. It's been a nice edge for this team. Twice in a row now, it's been clutch moments that they've been able to pull the round out beneath KOVA's nose, and every single time it's been on this B side. And look at how KOVA are going to play that baiting for the B. They're going to let them move on through. Viper's Pit going to be dropped on mid forces. Finest's hands, if they want to push onto this B side, it is going to be going through Garage. It is going to be going right into the waiting arms of KOVA, who have high ground control. Problem is they're already onto site.
Oh, letting them get all that space without a single kill. Destructive takes down Jasmine. Vicious finds 2, but Destructive is there again with that trade. 3v3. And the better economy is definitely in the hands of Finest. They don't have the spike down, however. Do they back out of it? Do they go for it? Sutma takes down Yassine. Shed takes down Destructive. Machina, it's all up to you to get this last kill. Finish it out. He's looking the wrong way. Sutma makes it. 12-12. We're going to overtime, everyone.
Oh my goodness, we could be in for a very long overtime. As KOVA going to be attacking up first, Finest on the defense. They have the means to be able to shut down these rush pushes. It's something that KOVA have got to be so wary of. The fact that Bonka on this breach can be sat safe and snug all the way on that A side. Just throw down something like the fault line or the flashpoint up A main. The rest of the team can peek out from heaven. And you can see how KOVA are so hesitant. They want a lot of information. They're going so spread out across the map to figure out where Finest are holding, where it's best to pick apart and pressure and pull out this utility. Because they know Finest so many times in a row now have been able to just pull out magic on their attack. KOVA want to start off strong in this OT.
KOVA need to. You really do. KOVA have somehow managed to not convert a lot of rounds that they should have at this point. And not managing to get the kill onto Kicks. There we go. Does get found in the end, but Yassine knows exactly where Shed is now. Paint grenades go either way, but it is Yassine who gets the kill and gets out of there. That is some brilliant satchel grenading. Perfectly timed.
Are they expecting Bonka to be playing in elbow instead of screen, though?
Well, they will now. Flash. Looking for these players. Finds one. Where did... I'm sorry.
Down A.
You saw him. You saw him just 2 seconds ago. He gets 2 away from that. Machina coming around from behind. They're not going to be ready for this whatsoever. They have no Sentinel utility to stop them from pushing in here. And Ale is not looking the right way. Machina takes another one down. The spike is planted for Vicious. And he almost has that Viper's Pit, but he's got 3 players to try and keep away from this one. And Destructive will not let that happen. Finest take the first round in overtime.
KOVA have got to be able to do what they struggled to do when Finest hit double digits. They have got to successfully defend a round of split if they want overtime to continue to tick away. If not, Finest will continue the tradition and pull off the reverse sweep. And I have to see adaptation coming out from KOVA. So many times we've seen them set Vicious up and anchor onto this B side, and it's meant that Finest have been able to track where this Viper is playing. I like this mix-up. I like the fact that, yes, Vicious is still going to be onto the B, but you're also going to have Ally there, so if you do get pushed, if Finest do try and punish the fact that this is where they expect the Viper to be, you are going to run into that backup, that the buddy system, where the guiding lights can allow the Viper to stay alive and get a lot of spray as Finest come through Garage.
My brain is mush. Both teams, I mean, Finest take a timeout here, and it's just, I think, to give KOVA something to think about. They need some time to calm down themselves, to cool down a little bit, and just think about exactly what they want to do here, because everything really rests on this round. If they go into another overtime, it's just so much more that they have to deal with. They're going back into it, and KOVA have seemed to be able to bring things back again and again and again. Finest looked like they had this map, and KOVA just kept bringing those rounds back up, and Finest had to claw their way to the finish line. And they're still not over it yet. KOVA are holding their ankles. They still haven't quite touched it. Finest have a little more struggling to do before they can get through there, and they're going to be on the attack hit. Can they convert this round?
Well, Finest not going to actually be pushing towards the B, and Tux and Screen's already been invested very early on from Vicious. It does have a lot of mid control, but unfortunately it's not going to have a lot of impact if Finest continue this trajectory and push onto the A. Actually trying to find a lot of information with these Cypher cams. You're going to have to try and push up ramps. KOVA wisely actually choosing to give a very wide berth to that one, not going to get caught out. If Finest decide to speed things up, it's Supma, who's holding so far away, can pop back into elbow if you get challenged, gets the information related to the rest of the team. There's the satchel pack. You see knows the Omen is there, is going to try and punish and follow up. But Supma's there, and Jasmine's there with the follow-through.
Ah! Destructive, 1v5, can you do it? Neural Theft, they know exactly where you are. You've got a full team chasing you down now. It's Jesmond who's going to contact first, and he's going to get his 4K. They're going to get a flawless round. They're going to say to Finest, you know what? You call a timeout there, did you? You guys called a timeout while you're winning, huh? Yeah, alright then, cool. Flawless round. 13-13, second overtime. Now KOVA have another chance to bring this one back. Another chance to take it over the line that they couldn't quite get it to. They couldn't quite get there. They evened it up with Finest for the 10-10. They evened it up with them for the 12-12. Now they've done it again for the 13-13. They just need to get over that line. Finest are not going to try and let them do that.
Oh man, if Vicious is able to activate Viper's Pit in one of these rounds, it's going to be an absolute game changer. It's a race. Who's gonna get the ultimate online first? Is it gonna be Bonker or is it gonna be Vicious? And Finest, they have to know, they have to make sure that KOVA fight for these ult orbs, turf and floor. Because if KOVA get that Viper's Pit and sit on site with the spike within it, and Bonker does not have the counter ability, that's when this defense is gonna get dicey.
This is gonna be heartbreak for either team no matter what happens here. Spike down in mid, KOVA. Still not formulated a plan as of yet.
It's a little bit of a fake at the moment. That toxin screen over to the A side has pulled Finest's attention. You can see there's a little bit of confusion. You've seen keeping an eye on Rams, doesn't know whether a team is going to be pushing up through it. Meanwhile, KOVA have used the time to get themselves a little bit of a foothold in Garage.
Finest still holding defaults. One player pushed up. That is it so far. Ramp is as far as they've gotten in terms of map control. They do not want to give KOVA anything to work with here. And KOVA are playing so passively. It's now 30 seconds left in the round where they decide to make their move. Shed will just push in, find the first kill. Kicks can't quite find the head. Machina It's Jessamine, but Vicious is there with the trade. They can get the spike down. It's a 3v4. Finest don't really have anything to work with just yet. They're still aware that somebody could come around from behind, but it is every KOVA player on site that they have to take out one by one now as they move in. Aftershock over towards Pillar, and the flashes come through as well. Fault Line will take down backside, which pushes them all around, but in comes Shed from behind, and he'll find two more to close out the first round of second overtime and make it 14-13.
It's a pendulum swing right now, and neither of these teams are laughing. It's KOVA, they've mixed things up. The first time in OT, they lost the attack. This time, they've got the edge. They're 1 round away from being able to do what two teams so far have not been able to defeat Finest, to stop the reverse sweep in its tracks, and they are now going to be on the defense. Problem is, are they going to be able to shut Finest's push down? We've seen a little bit of a struggle, the Breach versus the Sky. The Breach has always seemed to come out ahead in terms of that utility setup. Vicious wants to be able to move in aggressively forward. And KOVA, they can't just sit back. They can't allow ramp control. They can't allow mail control. They have to reveal themselves and make sure that Finest fight tooth and claw and every bit of utility thrown in be able to move an inch on this map.
And Finest haven't moved a single inch. It's now 1 minute remaining in the round, and they've still yet to take any control on the other side of the map. They walk up mid, but it is every player on mid. They are putting all their eggs in this proverbial basket. Guiding Light will figure out that there are players there. Now they have something to worry about, but Finest have a lot of work to do, and they need to figure out exactly where they want to go right now if they want to make something work, because they have so much to get through. Boncar knows that there's a tripwire there. They know that they can't push up without alerting everybody to their presence, alerting everybody to their push. You can see one player on alert, two players, in fact, one over towards Heaven, and that might just send them all the way back to B, but there are players waiting for them.
Alice is holding in tower. The fault line's gonna push this guy, but there's the Guiding Light as a reaction. And there's Shed, making sure that you can't move from the high ground onto the B side. There's 19 seconds left. You just have to, if you're KOVA, hold, not allow this fight to get planted. It's just one player. Machina can't do it. And KOVA are able to defeat Finest. The reverse sweep is not the tradition. It is broken. And my goodness, what an overtime it was. They wait to the very last moment. They try and force KOVA into an uncomfortable position. KOVA just don't give an inch. They wait. They sit back. They know that you have to push into them eventually, and they will punish the fact that you try and push in with 19 seconds to spare.
Yeah, what an amazing way to close things out from KOVA. They fought genuinely tooth and nail for that whole series. The first map went their way. I mean, we expect that at this point. Against Finest, but they really worked for that. The second map, they tragically missed out on 7 rounds in the middle of the game, didn't quite make it over the line before Finest could get there, and this time, on the split, they were able to just bring it back. Every single time Finest threw something at them. Once, twice in the second half, then in overtime, then the second overtime they were able to convert it, make it 15-13. What a game from KOVA, what a series from KOVA, and they fully deserve that. They will be making that record 2-1 coming into this, and I'm not seeing the same KOVA that I did last stage. This is a completely different beast.
This is such a confident team as well. The fact that they're able to keep that mentality, that they don't lose focus. It's a very long day of Valorant. The KOVA that we see begin the series is not the same KOVA that we see end. This is a team that thrived under pressure. We're able to deal with Finest coming in with these very strange picks. We're able to see themselves through the Judge meta trip back in time, the Frenzy meta back in time, and they're able to adapt in, right? The fact that they're able to, on the second go-around of OT, immediately switch things up so that they're able to not only take their attacking round, but very quickly after that the defense, that they don't play into Finest hands, that they know as long as they hold their positions, they can utilize the fact that Finest always have to show their hands. It's very clear when they are pushing into these spaces, because they don't have things like the Viper. They have to rely on the Breach to bulldoze their way through with all of the sort of quietness of a bull in a china shop, right? Immediately just blaring your arrival that you're going to be pushing. That's something that KOVA don't really have to worry about when they're pushing in. They can be a lot more soft-spoken, a lot more smart about it.
We can take a look at the two teams here, and I can say for certain this time, there is almost nothing to separate these two. What an amazing matchup between these two teams. The MVPs from both Machina and Shed, 25 and 24 kills respectively. Pretty much everybody in the lobby getting over 150 ACS here. Everybody getting involved at all levels, but it is KOVA that take it away, and it is KOVA with the more balanced team in terms of how everybody was getting involved. Look at the amount of ACS. Almost everybody getting over 200.
Yeah, everyone on both of these teams truly pulled their weight, and this is actually something that happened in KOVA's matchup up against Heat, right? It's really intense, it's constantly back and forth, and every single member on KOVA had pop-off moments, had amazing plays that will go onto the highlight reel, and the same can be said today. This is what makes this team so dangerous. You can see the synergy carried through from Split 1, the fact that they know how close they were to getting those playoffs, and in Split 2, they're not backing down. They've kept the same roster, they've scrimmed together, they've played together, they know their own play styles. And the trust that they have in each other, when they have a little bit of an advantage, to just be able to hold back with that trigger discipline, wait for the rest of your teammates to rotate into a position, which means that instead of getting one pick, you find 2, 3, or even a round win.
Yeah, I mean, every time Finest came up with something to stop KOVA from getting through, and they seemed like they were going to take that one away, KOVA were just like, okay, we'll think about that for a little bit, think about it, they just bring it back. And then they bring it back again, and then they bring it back. KOVA, the mental fortitude on this team must be something just completely unbeknownst to any other member of the mankind. It's just unreal to see a team go down that far, especially after such a, heartbreaking second map, I would say. It's not like they lost massively or anything like that, but it was just those 7 rounds they lost in the first half that was really heartbreaking for them, and being able to just come back into that one over and over again. Well, let's talk to a member of KOVA and see exactly what was going on behind the scenes. It is Yesmond ready to talk to us. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. I had a rough series there myself, but I'm glad we won that 2-1 again.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's getting over the line that counts, and you absolutely did that. I mean, you've taken down one of the favorites in this stage of Polaris. Is this a good sign moving forward of things to come? Last stage excruciatingly close, and you just about missed off on playoffs. You think that's going to change this time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last time we beat Yasin and Bonker also, so we expected to do it again. But yeah, I think we are having maybe better mindset to this split, and hopefully we make it to playoffs.
Yeah, you guys looked extremely strong in the overtime, and overtime, of course, is an entirely different beast to all of the other matchups that you get to play. The fact that you have to get 2 rounds in a row. Is there anything that you sort of approach differently in terms of how you aggress forwards, or whether you hold a little bit more passively, that guarantees that you have the best chance at taking those 2 rounds?
I think it comes up for the individuals to actually step up on the overtimes also. I did 2 Cypher setups on CT side that I haven't done the whole game, so I just pulled up something on my sleeve, and I just I think single-handedly won both defensive overtime rounds there.
If I can just cast your mind back to last week against Heat, your first ban was Haven. This time, absolutely not. You decided to ban Icebox, which is generally what Finest like to ban first. Is this a reaction to what Finest did last week as well, 13-5 against XL, or is there another plan in mind? You just wanted to switch things up?
I mean, the Icebox is just insta-ban for us every time. I don't know if there was something else. Maybe I misunderstood here, but we just always ban Icebox. There's nothing else on our veto process that changes, but this is always the same.
All right, fair enough. Well, just quickly then, what was going through your heads as Finest kind of edged closer to that win? You obviously turned things around in an incredibly dramatic style, but that was such a close ending. Was that, mentally tolling on you guys, or did you stayed cool all throughout, calm as a cucumber, bring it back, no worries, guys, it's still 0-0?
I mean, nothing to nothing big changes, honestly. I mean, we lose big rounds, and obviously it takes on everyone mentally, but I think we are pretty good at resetting after the round, and we just go next.
And you guys are obviously one of the teams that we saw in Split 1, but unlike some of the other teams, you actually kept the very same roster coming through. Do you feel it makes a massive amount of difference coming in with already those 5-player synergies?
Yeah, I mean, of course it helps. Like we have a wider map pool, and everyone pretty much knows like how everyone plays and what their style is, and I think there is a good respect between each other when we come to the officials. Like I think it's different from other teams.
All right then. Well, I mean, you've definitely shown your caliber through here. It was a well-fought victory. Is there anything you want to tell the other teams as you move into week 4 of the competition?
I mean, I don't think there's gonna be a fluke like the Heat one anymore. That's the only thing.
All right then. Well, Heat was a fluke. This was exactly what they meant to do. Finest get taken down by KOVA. Thank you for talking with us, Yasmin. It's been a pleasure, and good luck with your following games.
Thank you.
All right then, guys. I mean, that was an incredible day of Valorant. I don't think any of us could have asked for any more, especially with that last series. Remember to go check out our socials, Valorant, Val League Any, on everything from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything's ready for you to go check out there. You can keep up to date on every single game coming through here. And thank you to SideQuest, our brilliant sponsor coming into this one. They've made it very much possible for us to go through into this one. We can take a look at the standings before we head off into this. Just check where everybody is after that first day of week 3.
Yeah, things have obviously had a little bit of a mix-up, have they not, Twiggy? Finest going to be toppled from their position as having an unbeaten track record. This KOVA creeps their way into second place. Hookahs, however, still to play that third matchup. So whether or not they're going to be sitting one above everybody else, or whether or not it is going to be a tie of first between them and KOVA, we will get to find out very shortly.
Yeah, obviously we've still got a few teams left to play, and we can check exactly what our talent think about those next 2 games coming up. I don't think this time it's going to be... we can check, sorry about this game. We haven't quite got ready for the next one. I think some people haven't quite filled out their forms yet. Anyway, we can see nothing changes. Everybody was correct for all over the board. That's the first time that's happened. Well done, everybody. Well done. Nari, you keep your title and X-Warrior. Well done, guys. Yeah, cool. I'll catch up to you later. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we were all right for the first matchup. The second matchup, not so much.
Yeah, it was a little closer. I think a lot of... Look, I was going to say, maybe we should... maybe I should go with KOVA here. So I was quite close on that one. We were all very close, I think. Sorry, no, we weren't all correct. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, here's the schedule for tomorrow. You can check exactly what's going to happen. It's XL versus Alliance to start things off. Alliance not having won a game yet, but XL are going to be looking to make that even worse for them. And then game 2, Hookahs versus Heat. It's Hookahs who are the only flawless team left in the group. They're going to be looking to turn that into 3 and make it even worse for the rest of the teams.
Yeah, XL versus Alliance obviously coming in from that split 1. They had a really big rivalry. They were 2 of the big names that were really going toe-to-toe. For the first and second, XL able to walk away with the win and then move on up to the promotions. And it was definitely a heated affair. That was, however, a very different Alliance roster, and we are starting to see some of the problems. We talked to Yasmin before saying, okay, do you think it was a big effect, the fact that you'd already been playing together? Something that Alliance have not been able to lean into, because they did drop a lot of their players and pick up a couple of them, namely Hype. This is an Alliance team without their star Cypher player, and it is showing. They're still trying to find how they want to synergize and how they want to really incorporate their team strategy, as opposed to XL, who are looking extremely cool, extremely confident, and extremely terrifying to go up against.
Alright then, that is about it for our overview of this one and for today's broadcast. It's been absolutely amazing. Go check out the socials once again. Thank you to our sponsor SideQuest, but that'll be it for us too. My name is Twiggy. I was joined here today by Got Moxie, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow for another great day of Valorant. Don't go anywhere. Goodbye. Actually, do go anywhere. Go to sleep. Bye.